Well, it's a beautiful fall day. Finally got an opportunity to come out to the range and do an actual decent range video of the Standard manufacturing single action in 45 Colt. I did take it out to the range once before. It was a very hasty range trip. Rained on me, a bad targetry. It wasn't a good video. It shot fine, shot basically point of aim, point of impact. See if we can't do better today with better weather and better targets. I'm going to be testing this alongside one of Ubertis' more recent products. This is their rooster shooter, marketed by Cimarron. Supposed to be their copy of John Wayne's Rooster, Cogburn, Gun, and True Grit, and a lot of the other westerns that he starred in. It's also in 45 Colt. This is a borrowed firearm. The guy I borrowed it from has done a lot of shooting with it, and he's very impressed. He used to sneer at anything Uberti as being poor quality, but they've really upped their quality, and we're going to see how well. And also going to be pitting them against this 45 Colt Rodeo. This is US Firearms, USFA Rodeo, 45 Colt. I also took it to the range when I tested this the first time, and it shot pretty well. I don't remember it shooting any better. It may have even shot a little bit worse than the Standard, so we'll see if that was just me that day. And then I also borrowed from the same guy this also Uberti product. It's marketed by Cimarron. It's a 44 Special single action. He has sighted this in. You can tell he's done a little bit of filing on the front side, it looks like. I don't think that's where. I think that's where he sighted that in for elevation with his loads. Don't know how they'll do with mine. And he has replaced the hammer with a Uberti hammer that was marketed by Cimarron without all the fancy safety gizmos on it. I'll be pitting that against this 44 Special Rodeo by USFA. I've never shot this. Very eager to do it. Dave, you know who you are. I'm sure you're eager to see how well this shoots. It certainly feels like it ought to. And then if there's time and ammo left, I'd like to shoot this. I've never shot this before. This is another US Firearms product. It was one of their premium grade. It had the dome blue finish, which was just polished, their hot salt bluing. They also had one, they had some that they made that they called Armory Blue, which was a much more fragile but much more period correct, like a Carbonia blue on it. But this was pretty premium back in the day, and this is also in 45 Colt. I would test it against the Standard, but with a longer barrel length, it really wouldn't be a fair contest. It's just easier for me to do precision shooting with a longer barrel. Although it does have the very vestigial little V notch in the frame rather than these wide square notches, so it might be 6.1, half dozen the other. But I will be shooting this against an original second generation Colt, but this is a very late second generation. This was made in 1970. So it has a few cosmetic warts, but it's always shot well for me in the past. There is a new mainspring in it, a softer mainspring I'm trying out, Lee's Gunslinger springs. It feels wrong to me. It's too light, but it is easy to cock. Very, very smooth feeling with that in it. If I get ignition problems, I've brought another mainspring. I'll pull the grips and put another mainspring on it. Ammunition for the 45 Colt will be some I cooked up myself. This is a 250 grain lead semi-wad cutter, kind of the basic Elmer Keith style bullet. These are professionally cast. I didn't really have time to cast any up myself. And to try to make this as consistent as possible, I used brand new Starline 45 Colt brass, so it should be good and hard. One of the things I'm going to be testing is how the extraction is, whether I have to use the ejection rod or don't. I've always had to in the past, but when I had this at the range, all the cases were falling out of this USFA rodeo. They weren't the standard. Some of them did. Some of them had to be helped. And just looking at the polishing of the chambers, a little smoother inside on the USFA. Target. Standard has been, with some of their guns, shipping a target, and it's marked that it was shot at 12 yards. So rather than the 20 yards that they say that they're sighted in for at the factory, we'll be shooting them at 12 yards. I measured that off. If the target backers look a little wee-wad, that's because the ground isn't level. I leveled the targets, mostly because with that sort of target, it really does need to be level. So let me do a little bit of setting up and get on with the shooting. Well, it's days like today you really do wish you had a cameraman. And I'm not being very fair to the Standard by putting it on deck first, but I think a lot of people will tune into this video just to see the Standard shot. They don't really care about anything else. When I've checked the stats on my videos, most of them, people don't watch them all the way through. I know they are long. So, for those people that just want to see the Standard shot, I guess I'll throw it up on deck first. I usually tend to shoot a little bit better as a shooting session progresses. Anyway, Standard, 5 rounds. I'm going to be shooting at the bottom left target. The last time I did take this to the range, the very first round, I forgot to turn the camera on. I didn't even get it, and it was in the bullseye. All right, 250 grain lead over, get 6.3 grains of tight group. 45 Colt. 12 yards. First round down the pipe, low right. But sights were dead on. Second one also low right. Third low right. Fourth low right. Fifth low right, although a little closer to the bullseye. All right, let's look at case ejection, shall we? That fell out. Yeah, didn't take much, did it? All right, that's first 5 rounds through the Standard. And because I don't have a cameraman, I'll have to swivel this around myself. So, there you go. First round's out of the pipe with a clean bore. Next up, I guess we'll do the USFA rodeo. USFA rodeo. All right, I guess I'll shoot at the low right target with the rodeo. Same kind of sight picture this offers. That first round was low left. That was left, but not low left. Concentrate on my shooting. That's it. All right. Huh. And falling out pretty easily with the rodeo. I'll say this for the Standard. It's turned in a better group overall than the rodeo, although neither of them are hitting exactly point of aim, point of impact. And there's the rodeo's group, low right. I mean, the target, the low right target. So there's its group, a little to the left, had some elevation differences. And there's the Standard. Standard did have a better group. All right, We're going to see what Ubertis has to offer. One thing I don't like, he commented on this too, I think. I guess John Wayne's gun had a square bottom to it rather than have the grips flare up a little bit, just flat across the bottom. I like to do a little pinky underhold sometimes, and it feels like it'd probably be a little uncomfortable under recoil doing that. Okay, I'll shoot upper left target with Ubertis. Shooting high for me. And ejection, same on out. Well, the Rooster's a pretty good shooter. Maybe I'm not today. According to him, it was one of his best shooting out of the box Ubertis. And I was trying my best on that. You notice they're a little high left. I really should be able to get a jagged hole at this range. So I guess we'll continue on where we were. All right. The standard again. Let's see what that last one felt like. But we won't worry about the ejection on this one. Okay. How'd we do? Well, I didn't shoot any worse, really. It's making a kind of a jagged hole. It is consistently, with this load anyway, shooting low right. Let's see if we start getting consistency with the rodeo. It was a little bit inconsistent in elevation the first time. Bottom right target. Seems to be less consistent than the standard, doesn't it? Could be me. And Ubertis. Top left target. Trick the trigger on that one. And the Ubertis, in my hands anyway, seems to be shooting fairly consistently high. So there we go. That's the standard so far. That's the real so far. Actually, that's other than shooting low right, the standard's impressing me. At least with its group compared to the others right now. Again, this is my load. And these are my hands, my eyes, and in other hands. Might be shooting a lot differently. All right, we'll make this the last run on this boring stuff. Yeah, we won't swing the camera around this time. We're just going to keep shooting. One nice thing about US firearms and now standards recoil plate, the hole is so large. I couldn't remember if I'd fired 4 or 5. So when I cocked the hammer back, I was able to just look, and you could just see the primer. Good recoil plate. All right, Ubertis. Upper left target. We're going to stop there. That's 15 rounds through each at the same target, and kind of gives us an idea of relative group sizes. Certainly in terms of windage, the Ubertis got both of them beat. I don't seem to be able, I don't know why I've got some of that vertical stringing on some of those. The Standard, consistently low right. Got a nice jagged hole there, but consistently low right with that load at that range in my hands. And I don't know, not so consistent with the USFA. Again, my hands, my eyes, my reloads. So, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and replace some targetry and move on to the 44 specials. In my experience, 44 special tends to be pretty accurate round. And we'll be pitting this Cimarron Uberti. I don't know what model they called this one. I really don't. I don't know if it was a Cattleman and you replaced the Cattleman hammer, or I don't know. It has ill-fitting grips. However, the metal shows signs of being worked a little bit, so I don't think he'd put up with ill-fitting grips. I suspect he has custom fit some very nice grips to this because he liked how well it shot and didn't want to risk damage in shipping it to me, which I don't blame him one bit. I don't know if these were the grips that originally on it or not. So, well, last time I put the Standard up first. This time I'm going to put the Uberti up first. These 44 specials are some that I loaded quite some time ago. They're also 250 grain lead semi-wad cutter. They're just some bullets that I actually cast myself, so see how well they do. And these are over 5 grains of red dot. It's just a standard target load for me. So this time, this is going to get the lower left target. Hold that one. I am not shooting well today. I'll tell you that much. These are going to have to be helped out. Now this is a good shooter. I can tell that right now. I just don't think I'm doing a very good job shooting today. They're touching, but it's horizontal stringing. I don't know why that one got pulled, but yeah. All right, Dave. I bought this from Dave. He never got a chance to shoot it, and this is my first time shooting it, so aiming at lower right target. You sure don't fall out like a 45 Colt square, do they? And again, not real pleased with my shooting. That's not a very good group at all. So let's try some more. All right, Ubertis again. Lower left target. That's better on windage. I'm stringing it elevation wise, but I'll shoot the rodeo. I'll leave this focused on the target for a little bit. All right, rodeo, lower right target. Ubertis again, and once again we'll focus on the target. Let's see if I can do his 44 special justice, because it's not shooting in my hands as well as I think it's capable of. 12 yards. Now that's better. That's more like what it should have been doing. I guess I need to take my time a little bit more. Put a few more through the rodeo. Rodeo on the lower right. Not bad, but that Ubertis seems to be beating it. Ubertis quite a shooter. May not be shooting well today, but I can tell. Let's see if this still stiff on rotation. No, that must have just been something funky. Save that one. Alright, those are the ones ejected from the rodeo. Much easier to eject out of the Ubertis. Smoother chambers, looser chambers, I don't know. Well, that's it for now for 44 specials. I'd like to do some fun shooting with that Ubertis. That looks like a really, really fun shooter. It's shooting better than that rooster shooter did. All right. All right, the last compare and contrast for rested shooting is going to be USFA Premium 45 Colt against Colt 1970 late second gen single action Army. Both 7.5 inch barrel. This has period correct. It's trying to copy, you know, it's got the bullseye ejector rod, the black powder frame. So they put the V-notch rear in it. It's going to be probably harder to sight down. I'm not offering up excuses ahead of time. This better be a darn good shooter, because it certainly is a good looking one and otherwise well crafted. So I guess we'll put it up first. What I think I'll do is I'll shoot each of them. Boy, those are some shiny chambers. If these don't fall out, I'll go upper left with this and upper right with the Colt. And what I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and load this up now. I'll fire each one from here on camera, and then we'll pan up and show the targets, and then I'll leave it on the targets and fire the next 5 through each one. These chambers are not as well polished looking as on the rodeo. And hopefully I don't have any misfires with that very, very light mainspring on that Colt. All right, upper left target with the USFA. That's not too bad. It's actually a very good side picture. Then I had three bullets went into one hole. I'll show that in a little bit. Colt, upper right. Also nice sight picture, a little more generous. And forgot, this has a really light trigger. Holy cow. It's a better shooter. Pan over to the targets. Upper left, USFA. I was getting kind of excited. The first bullet was the upper left one, and the next three were in the one on the right, and the last one was to the left of that. So I was getting excited, thinking, "Hey, I just pulled one upper left, and maybe that was the first, oil in the bore or whatever, and now it's really settling in. 3 rounds in one hole, that's nice." But overall, look at, in terms of point of aim, point of impact, that's the Colt. I had one right in the bullseye. So we'll leave this focused on the target. Oh, well, crap. I guess we won't. I'll put it back on there in a minute. I'm curious what the ejection is like. This USFA had really highly polished chambers, so it doesn't take much to knock them out. And the Colt. Look at that. I say, they had, I only fired 4 rounds? I did only fire 4 rounds. Well, that's certainly not fair. Alrighty. Alright, USFA. You need to turn in a better show than this. It may be pretty, but that Colt's shooting circles around you right now. Well, so far, Colt is producing a tighter group and closer point of aim, point of impact. All right, we'll focus on the target, leave it on there. So we'll be shooting the upper left first. USFA. All right, redeem yourself here, USFA. That vertical string. A lot of shots touching. Obviously not point of aim, point of impact. Here's the Colt. Remember, this got a really light trigger on it. Even lighter with that light mainspring. Good. Well, as you can see, this Colt does not win any beauty contests, but today anyway, it certainly won the shooting contest. When I got this, I traded for it for two reasons. One, it was made in 1970, which is my birth year, which I thought was kind of neat. And I was actually cleaning it for a friend who had offered to trade me, and I didn't think I wanted to. And then I started cleaning it. Despite its cosmetic warts, it struck me as being put together well. And the proof is in the target. I still like this USFA, and it's shooting well, but not quite as well as the Colt. That's enough compare contrast pitch shooting, because that's just no fun at all. I'm going to try to have some fun with these now. If you've made it this far, maybe the video will get a little more interesting. Alright, we're going to give the USFA Rodeo one more chance. I remembered, I have a habit of annealing a lot of my cases, because a lot of times I'll shoot in lever guns. I don't shoot any 44 special in lever guns, but it does help with case longevity. It's also going to make a case obturate more easily in the chamber. So this is some AMERC ammo. It's known for being crappy stuff. I got it really, really cheaply. The gun store was pretty much wanting to get it out of there. So maybe the cases will be harder and it won't stick, but we'll see. This is just some informal one-handed stuff, just popping off at some steel. I didn't mean to knock that branch down. Well, let's see if it's any tighter, any looser. Now, a couple of those chambers are just rough. That one anyway. Although those did seem to come out more easily than my reload, so we'll see. I've got all the other ones loaded up. It'd be fun to grab them one at a time and just have a little fun with them. That was terrible. That was abysmal. And that's out of this good shooter, so that's me. We're going to have to do that again. Let's see. Got to remember, this has a light trigger. Colt Single Action Army. And that was it. Well, that's 5 for 5 with the standard. Wasn't really getting that kind of performance off the bench with it. Maybe it's just more shootable. Alright, USFA. Remember, aim a little low on this one. And my buddies, Cimarron, Ubertis, 44 special. Gotta remember it shoots high for me too. I've got to aim a little bit. Alright, here's that USFA again. 44 special. Mark. Hold that one. Well, practically speaking, these are all capable of being work guns. Well, here's something if you were wanting to know what the sight picture is like on standard manufacturing. A little point of view shooting. We'll compare that to, this is the Ubertis 44 special, and pretty much the same. Ubertis really improved their sights over the years. This is that nasty old aimer camo, and it's falling right out of the chambers. That stuff I reloaded was not. So, probably just needs good hard brass. There's that USFA Rodeo 44 special. And it's probably not going to fall out like the Ubertis did. And that chamber did. That certainly didn't. And this one is rough. It's got the little lines on it. That is a rough chamber. That one's certainly not. That one's certainly not. Looks like it's got two chambers that may need some attention. The point of view on that rooster, I got to keep remembering. I keep forgetting that this tends to shoot high in my hands for some reason. I aim a little bit low on the target for me. They did a good job on that cylinder. Those are some nice clean chambers. Some people aren't familiar with V-notch sights. This was the early type of sight. Rear sight was just a V instead of a nice square, and the front post was a lot smaller. A lot of old sights turn of the century were itty bitty little things. It enabled you to do some really, really tight sighting in on small stuff, I'm sure. But they're harder to pick up in a hurry. And we tend to have gotten used to bigger sights. Yeah, I pulled that one, didn't I? You probably saw that. This Standard is growing on me. It's a keeper.